All right, let's just jump right in. What's a business really worth? I mean, it sounds like a simple question, doesn't it? But if you've ever even thought about buying or selling one, you know the answer is, well, anything but. How do you put a price tag on years of hard work, on customer relationships, on all that specialized knowledge? It's definitely not just about the equipment in the building. So today, we're going to break down the three completely different ways a business is valued, all through the story of one cabinet maker who's trying to retire. So, our story kicks off in a place where so many modern stories do, an online forum. A member of the woodweb community, a place for professional woodworkers, posts a question that, honestly, gets right to the heart of what we're talking about today. He's built a successful business from the ground up, and now he's ready for a change. You can really feel that, can't you? The weight of a long career, all in one sentence. This guy has spent a lifetime pleasing clients, sweating the details, and building something valuable. And now, he just wants to sell his one-man operation as a turnkey business and finally enjoy those rewards. It's a goal that, a ton of small business owners can relate to. He mentions he's got about $150,000 worth of equipment, if you were to buy it all brand new today. Now that number feels solid, right? It's tangible. You've got machines, tools, inventory. That's got to be the core of the value, you'd think. And there it is, the $1,000,000 question. Or maybe the $150,000 question. Is his business just the sum of its parts, or is it something more? Well, the other business owners on that forum were quick to jump in and say, whoa, hold on. Just adding up the cost of your equipment doesn't even get you in the ballpark. Okay, so to really figure this out, let's start with the most official, by-the-book method there is. We're talking about how the government values those physical assets for tax purposes. This is the baseline, the undisputed value of all the stuff. See, for tax purposes, government bodies like the North Carolina Department of Revenue have a very, very specific way of doing things. They actually publish these detailed schedules that tell tax assessors exactly how to value business property, all using a standardized cost approach. So the idea behind this cost approach is actually pretty simple. You start with what it would cost to replace an item today, brand new. Then you subtract value for its age and all the wear and tear it's been through. It's a logical way to value a physical object, whether we're talking about a table saw or a delivery truck. And the official process itself is a pretty straightforward three-step deal. The appraisers, they look up the equipment category, they use its age to find something called a percent good factor, and then they just do a quick calculation to get the final taxable value. Easy peasy. So what in the world is this percent good factor? Well, it's actually a pretty clever number. It combines two different things. First, the rising cost of new equipment, inflation. And second, the decreasing value of the old equipment. That's depreciation. It just rolls it all into one neat little percentage that tells you the asset's remaining value. So the formula you end up with is beautifully simple. You just take the original price the owner paid, the historical cost, and you multiply it by that percent good factor. And voila, that's the official taxable value of the asset. As far as the government's concerned, that's the whole story. But back on that woodworking forum, the other business owners, they knew this asset-only number was a total trap. They saw a much deeper reality, one that those official government schedules could never, ever capture. Wow, this one comment just cuts right to the chase. It's a huge warning to our cabinet maker. See, a collection of machines is one thing, but a going concern, a living, breathing business that actually makes money, that is something entirely different. And without the owner there to run it, that going concern value can just disappear. And this right here perfectly illustrates the core conflict. On one side, you have the asset value, what the machines would sell for at an auction. The folks on the forum figured, maybe $30,000, $40,000. But on the other side, you've got the business value, which is built on things you can't even see or touch. So what are these invisible things that create so much value? Well, according to the other owners, they're the real engines of the business. We're talking about an established customer base, proven systems for sales and production, the owner's personal reputation and goodwill, and just the sheer convenience of a turnkey operation where a new owner can walk in and start making money from day one. Okay, so we've got the government's view of just the physical stuff, and we have the owner's view of all this intangible value. But how do you bridge that gap? I mean, how do professional business valuators take all those invisible things and turn them into a cold, hard number? Well, they use a tool called a valuation multiple. Think of it like a shorthand ratio. It takes a key financial number from the business, usually some measure of its profit or cash flow, and it multiplies it by a factor that's based on what other similar businesses have recently sold for. Now, for small businesses like our cabinet shop, the most common metric they use is SDE, or Seller's Discretionary Earnings. And honestly, this number is brilliant because it represents the total financial benefit a new owner would actually get from the business. It's the profit, plus the current owner's salary, plus any personal perks they might run through the company. It's the true cash-generating power of the business. So where do these multiples even come from? Well, professional valuation firms are constantly compiling data on actual business sales. For a carpentry business, for instance, the SDE multiple typically falls somewhere in the range of about 1.7 to 2.6. This isn't just guesswork. It's based on what real buyers have actually been willing to pay for similar shops. And here's where you can really see the math in action. The source material gives an example of a carpentry business that's generating $390,000 in SDE. You apply an average multiple of 1.98, and you get a business value of over $770,000. I mean, that is a world away from the auction value of the equipment, right? So what have we done here? We've looked at this exact same question from 3 completely different angles. You've got the tax man, the owner on the ground, and the professional appraiser. And, each one gives us a vital piece of the puzzle. So let's just recap real quick. The government sees the depreciated value of the physical stuff. The owner and their peers, they see the intangible value of the going concern. And the professional valuator, they quantify that going concern by looking at it as a multiple of the cash it reliably brings in. And this brings us right to the key takeaway. The true value of a business isn't in its tools or its building or its inventory. All of that is just a means to an end. The real worth, the thing you're actually buying, is its proven ability to be a living, breathing thing that consistently generates cash for its owner. That's the whole game. So the next time you think about the value of any business, don't just ask what's in it, ask what it does. Because the story of its customers, its processes, and its profits, that's where the real value is actually written. So what story does your business tell?